Let me take a look. The timer arrived at 0. I see that it's the top of the hour. I see my camera is on and my microphone. Perfect. Good morning, everybody. And I see that people are connected. Fantastic. Good morning on this Tuesday morning on yet another HPE update session here at Tech Data. It's a very busy week, not one, not two, but even 3 update sessions, which means that there's a lot of information that you need to be aware of just before the summer holidays so that you are ready to keep on doing your business and maybe also, of course, enjoy your holidays. So, and it will not stop because next week is HPE Discover, which will be the event of the year where all the new exciting announcements will arrive. So keep on following us because we will keep on organizing these sessions with the latest information. So for those who don't know me, Bart Jungens, I am the technical consultant in the HPE team at Tech Data. And so I am listening to your needs, to your concerns, to your questions, and I will try to answer them as long as they are technical, of course. So today I have chosen for a topic which is not hardware related, it's software. It's more software today. And it's about cloud physics and Infosight, because these are 2 tools that I think that will make the difference. Okay, definitely in my pre-sales role, I can tell you as well that I have won deals already for you because I'm supporting you, the HPE partners. And so I can tell you I have won deals already by using these tools or by showing these tools. Now, you will see the similarities and also the differences between the two, because for me, Infosight and Cloud Physics, the outcome, the experience is the same. It's only when you're going to use them are differently. Okay, definitely for you, again, I am supporting you, HPE partners, to win deals together with HPE and Tech Data, of course. Cloud Physics will be more, and we're going to get started with that in a minute. You'll see that with Cloud Physics, we're going to do an inventory, an assessment of the current environment to take a look of what will be the future environment. What does the customer effectively needs? Because, and I'll show you again practically, most of the time, he doesn't know what he needs. He did over provisioning or under provisioning, most of the time oversizing. Then they're going to do a migration. Most of the time there are bad configurations that are migrated. You cannot imagine how many customers that I see where it's already the second or the third migration, and so they are migrating virtual machines with settings from 10 or 12 years ago that never got updated. Yes, I still have customers with Windows 2003 and Windows XP running. Yeah, it happens. So, but that's good, but it's not ideal, of course. And so this is where Cloud Physics is going to help you to be sure that you're going to migrate a healthy environment, or that the end result is then, of course, a healthy environment. And then comes in Infosight, because Infosight, Cloud Physics is a short term. I'm talking about 1 month, maybe 2 months max, but 1 month we're going to do an assessment, take a look at the current environment and optimize it. You will become some kind of a trusted advisor. Yeah. Then once that they are migrated, then of course, I got already a few people calling me, hey, Bart, I want Cloud Physics, but permanently over 3, 4, 5 years to see how good or how bad it goes. Well, that's not the purpose of Cloud Physics, because at that moment, Infosight will come in. So Infosight will take a look at your environment. Yeah, and Infosight started as a D tool for nimble storage. Well, now today I can tell you that Infosight is everywhere. It's on servers, on storage, on networking. It's getting into networking. It just has another name in there, but it will be all combined into one tool where Infosight will give you that view, that cross-stack analytics view for those 3, 4, 5 years to say how good and how bad it is going. So that's the idea. So this is, I see them complementary. They're not competition, not at all. It's just you should understand when to use which one. Yes, it depends of in which situation that you are. So we're gonna take a look at both of them. But to me, the most important, of course, is in my pre-sales role is to support you, is of course CloudPhysics. Because what's the thing? We have customers and there's you, the HPE partner. Yeah. And so you, if you're a sales or a pre-sales or maybe even a technical person, even then you hear those concerns of your customers, and customers, they say, yeah, it's old, it's slow, it's not stable, I need something new. But of course the customers, what do I need? What do I need to optimize? Yeah, probably I can keep it running for one more year. Yeah, okay. So there are too many options, by the way. What do I need to take? This is a session on Thursday. Hey, I want something hyper-converged or disaggregated hyper-converged, or I want something composable. Hey, at HPE, we have a lot of server and storage and network solutions out there. Too many options. And from your side, the partners, yeah, do you have the full visibility? Yeah, because you sold something probably 5 years ago. But meanwhile, what happened? Did it got upgraded? Were you responsible? Did they do it themselves? So there's a lot of questions in there in that IT infrastructure buying process. By the way, the buying process didn't get easier with the cloud, of course, because now they have some things running in the cloud, maybe some mailboxes or maybe a virtual machine from a developer, and they have some things on premises as well. So it didn't become easier. And so this is where HPE said, okay, we need a tool that can help us changing that visibility in full visibility in servers, in storage, in networking. Now, know that CloudPhysics, it was an external company. And for those who follow me quite a long time already, I see a lot of familiar names in the list. So good to have you here, guys. And ladies. So in the past, we were using a tool called Lanamark. Now, Lanamark was end of life somewhere last year. Why was that? Because Lanamark is an external company. HPE was paying licenses, the right to use for you. But it costed money. It was a really good tool. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't sexy if you're going to compare with CloudPhysics, because here you will get more information with much more dashboards and so-called card decks. So CloudPhysics, HPE said, you know what, in combination with all the other acquisitions that we made the last years, and this is just a quick overview, Cloud Cruiser, which is something for consumption-based analytics in GreenLake, Blue Data, which is big data, MapR, which is software-defined storage, Zerto, which is data protection. We're going to have another session about Zerto and backup and recovery as well in the upcoming weeks or months, so stay tuned. But so somewhere last year, they acquired CloudPhysics, which is indeed monitoring and analyzing your IT infrastructure. So it's owned by HPE, it's inside the HPE software team. Initially, it was in storage only, but now again, it is everywhere. And to prove that it's everywhere, meanwhile, it got integrated already in DSCC, the Data Services Cloud Console, which is part of the GreenLake Cloud Platform. Now, if you want to know more about GreenLake Cloud Platform and DSCC, I advise you to take a look at the recording of the session last week. We had a compute and storage update session, and the presentation will be sent out, but also there's a recording on techdataevents.be available. And stay tuned on that one, because I will talk more and more about the GreenLake Cloud Platform. And please don't say, oh, GreenLake, that's cloud, that's pay as a service, and this is not for my customers. Stop, this is not correct, okay? GreenLake Cloud Platform is the portal where you come in, even for your traditional IT customers going CapEx and going not into the cloudy pay as a service. Even then, you're gonna use that portal, okay? But that's another session. I gave a quick introduction already in the session of last week. So please go take a look at that recording or just call me and send me an email and I will give you that demo. But also CloudPhysics is part here of those applications in greenlake.hpe.com. So these are the tools where, and by the way, CloudPhysics also Infosight is in here as well. So all the tools that you will be using in the future to manage your compute, your servers, your storage, your networking will be in here. Also Aruba Central for the networking is all in here. And so CloudPhysics is in here as well. So it's not a new tool because a lot of people say, hey, it's a new tool, forget it. No, it exists already for many years. And if these were the last numbers that I found officially, this is from January 2022. So meanwhile, it's much more already, but it's also all about the samples, the data samples that they are taking of your existing environment. More than 3 million virtual machines were already gathered or analyzed on more than 4,500 assessments. Well, I think that number will be much higher. Meanwhile, because at least here, since I am using the tool, I was one of the early adopters, but I think I am already at more than 100 assessments. All by myself, not by myself, but together with you, the HPE partners, of course. I have a lot of partners already out there who started these assessments. And then what they do is, I'm going to show that in a minute in the demo. You can add me to the team and then I can see your assessment. Why is that? Well, it's just because at that moment, for us, it's much easier to create a configuration. Hey, I need 3 Simplivity nodes, or I need 4 DL360s with an MSA or an Alletra 6000. Yeah, because all the information is in there. I'm going to show it to you, by the way, in a live demo. But before I'm going to do that, first, all the good stuff, all the things that you need to be aware of. Also here, we have that intelligence in there. So it's not just like a Landmark was doing, not that it's bad, but it was collecting performance information. And then it gave you an Excel sheet and just a few graphs. And there you go. This is your information, CPU, memory, latency, IOPS, bandwidth, and so on. This is what you need for the sizing. CloudPhysics go further. Just like with Infosight, for those who know Infosight, it exists already a long time as well. It's going to give you recommendations. Well, here as well, CloudPhysics is going to give you recommendations as well. That virtual machine is oversized or undersized, or there's a lot of space on your storage that you can reclaim that is used by maybe snapshots, which are 2 years old that you forgot to delete and these kind of things. So there's really intelligence behind it on all the levels. Again, so this is where you can become a trusted advisor. I had already a few partners where we were running this CloudPhysics assessment where I said, did you know this and that and that? No, they went to the customer and they said, hey, we want a deal because of this information, because this was done by another partner. They were not happy about it anymore. And now they had the proof that they were not happy about it. And so they won the deal just by giving them more information. It wasn't even a discussion about money anymore. It was about being that trusted advisor. Because this is all the information that you will view. You will see in a minute, we have 2 dashboards. There is a dashboard for the customer. Yes, the end customer will have a view on CloudPhysics as well. Hey, it's his data. You cannot forbid to get access to his data because this is his performance data, of course, but he gets those card decks. You will see in a minute in the demo, it's all about card decks. And he will get quite a lot of view of those card decks, but the basic ones. And now the nice ones, the interesting ones, the advanced ones, well, you as an HPE partner, you have right to access these advanced card decks. And this is how you will become that trusted advisor, of course. Right, so we're going to take a look. There are plenty of card decks in there. You will see for yourself. And of course, all the dashboards that you can imagine with all the graphs and utilization and so on, you will see it's quite easy to use that environment. And so you can do it, by the way, on VM level, on host level, on storage level. You will see all those hardware infrastructure layers in there. And what's the cool thing is that you can use it independent of where you are running currently your data, your workloads. Most of us, I think honestly, that we are focused on that core. And so we have a core data center with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 servers in there, with some storage and networking, with some virtualization in there. And so we're gonna optimize it. But know that also we have those remote offices, which we are called the edge, of course. Yeah. Outside my big data center where the data is generated, and maybe you are already running in the cloud as well, and maybe you want to leave it in the cloud or optimize it in the cloud, or maybe like a lot of people are doing, getting it back to an on-premises environment. Give a cloud experience, but of course on-premises where you have control on performance and security and regulations and so on, right? So also here, if it's a hybrid environment, no problem. With CloudPhysics, you will see how easy it is to gather that information from your edge environment, your core, but also from your cloud environment. And talking about the cloud, know that there are some simulators in there to simulate how cheap it is, how much it costs to run this workload in a public cloud. And you will see that effectively it's not that cheap, by the way. The nice thing is we're looking at real world data. So practically, I'll show you in a minute how we gather that information. So there's a little thing called an observer. An observer is a little virtual machine that will run, and it will connect to your vCenter. With Lanamark, it was an executable on a Windows machine, but you needed a Windows machine. Now it's just a little OVA file. It's a little virtual appliance that you're going to deploy on your VMware environment. And to set it up, it takes a few minutes. Yesterday, I did it for a customer in less than 15 minutes, 15 minutes. I started to get that information in my portal. Okay, so no hardware, no software whatsoever to install. It's a little virtual appliance. You connect it to your vCenter, and that's it. He starts to gather all that performance information and gonna visualize it in that dashboard. Okay, so nothing special in there. Anyone can run that virtual little appliance. There's a video available, there's a presentation of, there's a PDF available, but anyone can do it. And then finally, also get a question often, what about multiple vCenters? No problem, you can run that observer on every vCenter. There's one observer per vCenter. So if you have a customer with multiple vCenters, maybe in multiple countries or something like that, no problem. One CloudPhysics assessment and deploy that observer on all those vCenters. And then you will see all those sites with all those countries per vCenter, and then you can filter, you can drill down on there as well. Just to give you an idea, CRN, which is a tech channel in the US, they gave HPE one of their rewards of the tech innovators. There is no similar tool today that can help you to give all these insights, which is all, of course, a good thing as well. Now, of course, you're going to tell me, because I didn't get the question yet. By the way, Q&A is open. So if you have questions whatsoever, I will provide some time at the end of this session. But if you have a question, please let me know. But one of the questions that I get is, Bart, hey, this looks a cool tool. This must be expensive. Well, that's the thing. If you are an HPE partner, it's a free tool. Okay, so use it, because for you as an HPE partner, it's free. How to get access if you don't have access yet? How to get access, I'll show you in a minute as well. The link, you just have to register. It doesn't take that long. You have to register on a website, and then you get access to that tool, right? So how does it look like practically? It's a software as a service. So it runs in the cloud. There's a link. Of course, now you can go through greenlake.hpe.com, which is the link to all HPE applications in the future, of all the SaaS-based applications from HPE, like DSCC, COM, Compute Ops Management, Aruba Central, all these tools will go through, but know that there's a direct link as long as it still works. It's app.cloudphysics.com. So it's an online application that you're going to run. Then on premises, I have my hardware and my virtualization layer on top of it. I can tell you directly already, it's VMware only. Yes, I know VMware is the only hypervisor today. Hyper V is on the roadmap. Bare metal deployments. There's also another tool. We have another tool called SAF that may be handy. So there is a roadmap from CloudPhysics. It's not that HPE acquired it and it's finished now. No, not at all. HPE keeps on investing and enhancing the tool, of course. But I can tell you today that it's VMware only. Now we got to be honest, more than 95% of all the hypervisors out there are VMware, so you should be good to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to deploy a little virtual machine, a little virtual appliance. So we don't need a Windows machine, physical or virtual anymore, to install something. You don't have to install something. You run that observer. It's a little OVF file that you deploy. It takes a few minutes. You connect to your vCenter. And that's it. And from that moment on, you will get all the information in that portal. Now, as well, if your customer says, hey, I have some data in the public cloud, as such, we should be able as well, as long as it's virtual machines, we can collect information there as well, as long as you have VM machines running over there as well. Now, it's got to be easy, fast, and secure. Like I said, installing the server, that observer, it takes 5-10 minutes. Then connect to your vCenter. And there's also one little thing, there's a token. When you get that invitation, so from my side or from your side, you send an email to your end customer to prove that it's his data, of course, that he owns the data. And then you get a link, a URL to download the observer. And you also get a token, because that token is unique, his account, his ID to your account, of course. Well, it's with those two parameters that you're gonna deploy. And then after 15 minutes of collecting data, you will get already inventory data. So you will see that that customer has 2, 3, 4, 5 servers with some storage, with a hypervisor. So the default insights you will get after 15 to 20 minutes. And I advise always to run it at least for 7 days. Why? There are 2 reasons. The workload on a Monday morning and a Friday afternoon is not exactly the same. And then in the weekend, you have your full backup. And then during the week, you have your incremental backups. So also the workload there is different. So I always advise to run it at least for 7 days. And it's a maximum of 1 month. So also to your customer, if he forgets to stop that observer for some kind of reason, after 1 month, it stops automatically by default. It stops gathering information. It shuts down everything after 1 month anyway. But so after 7 days, you get actionable intelligence. So you're going to get those recommendations, those best practices you will get after 7 days. You get an email as well with a nice report that you can download and so on. And talking about security, of course, all the data that is sent, by the way, there is no user data that is sent. The only data that is sent is metadata up to the name of the virtual machine. But that's it. Okay, nothing behind. We just see the virtual machine with the IP address and then the operating system version. Because we have to tell you, hey, you're running Windows XP. That is out of support, for instance. But that's it. No user data. And by the way, it's all metadata. And all the data is encrypted anyway. And then, like I just said, we have a customer view. So the end customer, not you, the HP partner, but the end customer will get those card decks. Those are the ones that are for free, let's say. You will get your overview of your vCenter. You will get an in-depth analysis from your hosts. So yes, even I'll show you in a minute in the demo, he will recognize a Dell server and a Lenovo server and even wide brand Supermicro stuff and so on. He will recognize all this, so it doesn't have to be HPE. You get that host analysis overview and you get the guest analysis overview. So all your virtual machines, all the details from there. You get also an inventory of the licenses, so the host licenses, so you can see directly if your VMware licensing is okay, up to date, if there is support on it, yes or no. And a very cool one is, I'll show you as well, for me, that simulator for VM right sizing is a very good one to tell you how good or how bad those VMs are sized. Then we have the analysis of storage as well. vSphere high availability to show how high available that environment actually is. If one host goes down or if 50% of the host goes down, do you really have enough resources? Do you have high availability? And then there is some more interesting information about PCI and IO. This is networking, for instance. Do you have enough bandwidth to all your cards to the outside and to storage? And then a last interesting one, we're going to talk about that. I have a practical example, the Hpi sizing analysis. This is one of the things that HPE added in there. This is for customers who are interested in Simplivity. So if you want to go into Simplivity or DHCI, well, at that moment, this is a really cool tool that will give you all the 6 numbers. It's just 6 numbers that you need to do a Simplivity sizing. Well, it's very easy with CloudPhysics to do a Simplivity sizing because all the numbers that you need are in here. The only thing that you have to tell me is, do you need 3, 4, or 5 years support next business day or 24/7? That's the only thing that I need on top of this information. Yeah. So also there, for us pre-sales tech data helping you to do sizing, CloudPhysics is a fantastic tool. And so that's the view that the customer can see. So I have put some examples in there, but I'm going to give a live demo in a minute. And of course, afterwards, if you're interested, if you're not using it yet, please call me. We're going to have a quick call set up and I'll show you. You're going to love it. But so there's a lot of intelligence in there. This is that VM right sizing. So that customer says, okay, I have here for a certain number of virtual machines, this is what is sized. It's a quite big customer. I'm going to show you in a minute. 2,000 vCPUs. I admit that's quite a big environment. To 2,000 and a little bit more vCPUs. Well, right sized, Mr. Customer, you can run your workload that we see here. You can run it on 1,179 vCPUs, which is a reduction of around 40%. So you bought too much CPUs in there. You were doing a lot of over provisioning. Yeah. And then they're going to say, yeah, but more vCPUs is better. No, not at all. More vCPUs is even worse. Yeah. A virtual machine with 4 vCPUs will run faster than a virtual machine than with 16 vCPUs. Why that is? Call me up. That's another discussion. This is how virtualization works. Resource scheduling in virtual environments. But now at least I can show it without CloudPhysics. I need to dive into ESXtop, which is a CLI command on your VMware hypervisor. And way too technical, guys, except for the technical people, of course. But now I can prove it in the dashboard, how we can optimize that environment. We have the same thing for storage analysis. Yeah, with thin provisioning, over provisioning, thick provisioning, space reclamation that is not working or that is working, that should be working. Well, also here, reclaimable space. Insights up to the network card on your PCI bus. Do I have enough PCI bandwidth? Or maybe I should go to, now with Gen 10 Plus V2 servers, that we have PCI Generation 4. Well, here we can show you that you need PCI Generation 4, or that maybe you have enough bandwidth today. With really big environments, of course, if you have multiple edges, multiple locations per country, multiple vCenters, well, here now, every circle here is a vCenter, okay? And just to show you, the sky is the limit. I know Belgian market, you will not see this quite often, but you can see all these dependencies in one map, which virtual machine has communications with which other virtual machine. And of course, the thicker the line, the more bandwidth that you need. Okay, so you get even insights on your networking as well, if there is saturation on your long distance connections, yes or no. Now, we have the customer view. Now, of course, we have that what we call the partner or the trusted advisor view, because when you log on being the HPE partner, you will get much more card decks. So in that top menu here, I'm going to show you in a minute, but there are much more card decks in detail. With more information about simulators. Hey, this workload, run it on AWS, on Microsoft Azure, on Google, on GreenLake, or run it in a traditional CapEx way. So you can compare, the different consumption models if you would like that. Performance troubleshooting, hey, IO contentions, data store contentions, host resource, CPU, memory, PCI lane contentions as well, VM limits, reservations that were enabled a long time ago. I had a few customers who had VM hardware reservations on VMware, and they never forgot to disable it. And so now they had performance issues. They were giving more and more vCPUs, but the problem was not there. They had reservations for some kind of reasons by an engineer implemented who left the company meanwhile already. So here as well, that's the trusted advisor. We're going to show you bad configurations based on not the best practices from your VMware. And by the way, for those who didn't pay attention, you have those yellow and red triangles in here. Well, I advise you to click on there, because here we have 16 vDisks with reclaimable VMware space, so that these are 16 virtual machines who are using storage, useless storage that you can reclaim. Maybe snapshots that are stuck, for instance. 191 virtual machines with reclaimable unused VM space, as well. So you will become the trusted advisor. You just have to look for those red. These are actions that you can do. For instance, that customer has 132 virtual machines where the guest tools are not running. And now the technical people amongst us, they should know why you should have those guest tools running if you want to have the best performance and the best availability and so on, right? So there are actionable problems, and please don't migrate these problems to, of course, that new environment. Clean up the mess before you're gonna migrate a healthy environment. This is a free tool. You can go to that customer to say, hey, we can do this, 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 and this, and then it's up to you if you want to invoice it, yes or no, of course. So there are plenty of assessment details where you will dive in. So you just hit that arrow icon and then you will get those insights. This is how it looks like. This is an example of, for instance, that customer with a lot of physical servers. And like I said, IBM, Power Edge, System X3550, super micro servers, additional models which are not even recognized. It must be something Chinese or so. But so here you get your overview of all your systems. And again, if it's red, these are actionable items. For instance, that server, Mr. Customer, did you know that that server that you bought is not in the HCL, the hardware compatibility list of VMware 5.5 that you are running on there? And by the way, VMware 5.5 is end of support. So you can say directly, Mr. Customer, you are running things that are not supported, right? Are you aware of that? Now, if you sold this, then of course, watch out with that message, right? But if your competitor sold this, well, of course, use this information, right? Unsupported hardware, unsupported software, and so it goes really far in the insights that you will get. And so it's this tool that will help you to help the customer make a smart decision. You can prove why your customer needs to buy a server with 16 cores. and 384 gig of RAM. You can prove it. It's not just based on, I think that should be okay. No, no, no. You need this. Oh, your competitor just offered a server with 256 gig of RAM, which is of course cheaper. Well, Mr. Customer, I can prove it to you that 256 is not enough. You need 384. Bang, you became the trusted advisor. You're not a salesperson anymore. You are an advisor. You have full control on your environment and the needs of your customer. Okay, and so that's the cool thing now, because here in that view on HCI, there's that little icon at the top right, that blue little icon. It's well hidden, but you should know that when you click on there, here is that HCI Simplivity Sizing Tool Metrics. When you click on there, you get these 6 numbers. Well, with these 6 numbers, I can give you a Simplivity sizing configuration. Do you need 2 nodes, 3 nodes, 4 nodes, 6 nodes, small, medium, large? How many memory in there? High availability, N+1, N+N. Well, these numbers together with 3, 4, or 5 years support next business day or 24/7. Well, with this, I can give you instantly a configuration for Simplivity. Okay. So there you go. This is the picture then, the HCI sizing analysis. And like I said, I have a bit of picture here. There you go. It's that little icon in here, and you will get those numbers. This is a quite big one, but nevertheless, with these numbers, I can give you directly that information. Now, how to get started? Because of course you want to get started if you're not registered yet. Well, there are 2 links, and yes, you will get a copy of the presentation, and there's a recording available as well for you for your reference. And otherwise, if you cannot find it, just call me or send me an email. But first of all, if you didn't register yet, there is that link that you need to use to register to prove that you are an HPE partner, because of course we don't want our competitors to use this tool. This is for HPE partners. And then accessing the CloudPhysics portal, it's app.cloudphysics.com, and to install that virtual appliance, that observer, well, there's a direct link here as well to download the software. And then also there's a little video available and a presentation. I'll show you in a minute. Final details about the assessment process. So I'm going to show you, first you're going to send an email to that end customer. You're going to send an email through your partner portal. You can customize the text in there as well. Then you're going to activate it. It's a lightweight VApp, little virtual appliance that you're going to deploy. It takes 5-10 minutes to have it deployed. And from that moment on, you're going to connect to your vCenter, and then it's going to start the assessment. After 15 minutes, you see information coming in. After 7 days, you will get an email with actionable recommendations. And after 30 days, it stops automatically by default, because you get a license for a 30-day assessment. About the observer itself, it's not that big. For CPUs, 8 gig of RAM, 12 gig storage, internet access, and of course access to your vCenter. There's no performance impact as such on your environment, because it's not doing stress testing. It's just gathering performance information from your vCenter. And so this is a picture from the email that you will get with the link to download that OVA file. And there's also a token in there. It's that token that your customer or you need to put in that observer, because then the observer knows where to send the information to you, of course. Last information, like I said, VMware customer, it's quite important that it's a VMware customer today. So other hypervisors are on the roadmap. I cannot give any details if it will be this year or next year. Maybe I'll know more next week when I am at HPE Discover. But nevertheless, VMware, mixed workloads, even multi-site. Like I said, if you have multi-site, multiple vCenters, just deploy that observer with that same token on those multiple vCenters. And there's a filter in there so that you can filter per site, per vCenter, per host, that you can get all that information, of course. Now, before I'm going to show you quickly, because by the way, it's not a real deep demo, because there are enough videos available already. Okay, so also in the past on Tech Data events, I have a lot of demos. I'm going to show you the coolest information, of course. But if you have, I advise, if you have a customer with CloudPhysics the first time, we will sit together physically or virtually with Teams or Zoom or so, and then I'll show you all the really interesting information. But I have one use case from one customer that we did with a partner that I support here. And I got this very interesting information. So this is a picture from the report that you will get. So there's also a Word file that you can get out of the portal. And so these are a few screenshots. Very interesting. Why? Because it's a customer with an MSA. MSA, one vendor, one model, 4 data stores, numbers, gigabytes, megabytes per second, IOs per second, read-write ratio, all these things you can find in there. But what was, oh yeah, all the graphical things. Okay, 390 megabytes per second, which is around 4 gigabit per second. It's a nice fuzzy customer with 4 times 1. Well, yeah, there you go. It's quite good. IOs per second, 10, 15,000. And the latency, even for an MSA, look at that, below 2 milliseconds. Quite nice data store latency for the data stores, right? Nothing special, interesting information, going good. But now I was looking a little bit further and I said, I see 4 data stores with the least free space. Now I see 4 data stores of 1.5 and 1.8 terabyte. Yeah, I still have some free space. I see the average growth rate. Ooh, there is one with more growth rate compared to the others. And also the separation of the virtual machines is a little bit across those data stores. And now what I saw is, thanks to the naming convention, because this is something that CloudPhysics didn't see, you just see 4 data stores, of course. But what I saw is, based on the naming convention, is it's all rate 10. One that's not efficient at all. It's good for performance, but not good for rate, not for the overhead. That customer has, let's say, 6 terabyte, but he has 12 terabyte in there. And yes, 1 SSD volume, and then 3 SAS volumes. So he's not using tiering and not using caching. Answer from the customer: yeah, that's on purpose. We have a few SQL servers. We have a few virtual machines, 14 of them. And these are the virtual machines that need a lot of performance. And I'm going to put them on SSDs. And then the other virtual machines are important as well, but less important. So we're going to put them on SAS drives. What do you think? Do you also have customers who are thinking like this? It's not bad. You can do this because SSDs are faster, right? Everybody confirms, yes, SSDs are faster. Well, what I found out is that with the peak throughput, if we're going to take a look, that SSD volume is the 3rd one in the top 4 of throughput. So there are 2 other volumes in here, because by the way, it's 10 disks, 10 disks, and 10 disks. Why not create one big pool of 30 disks? 30 disks is faster than 3 times 10. Why is that? Because look, there's 1 of 10 giving 74, 61. And this volume here, volume 4, only 22 megabytes per second. He can do much more, but there are not enough virtual machines on there. And you said that you took SSDs for performance. Well, at least what I see here is that my SSDs are not giving the most performance. And it goes further, because I have, by the way, information about the read and the write. That's always a question. Hey, what about read? What about write? SSDs are very good for write. Yeah, but for read, well, it depends of the type of data. Well, here I can see with how many reads and writes in there. But now comes the interesting, because there's also a report about IOPS. We know that SSDs are very good in IOPS, yeah, with a low latency and a lot of IOPS, at least with random IO. Well, also here, look at that. The SSD is number 3. There are 2 SAS volumes who are delivering 2,000 IOPS, and the SSD is only 1,500 IOPS. So, Mr. Customer, you think that your VM, well, I didn't say this to the end customer, I said this to the partner. Well, that MSA is good configured. There's nothing bad in here. But how your virtual machines are deployed across those data stores, you think that the SSD is the fastest, but it isn't at all, because your SAS volumes are delivering more IOPS compared to the one with SSD. And now you're going to say, yeah, but Bart, the latency is higher. Well, I agree that indeed the latency is higher. Look at that. But even then, my SSD is number 2 and not number 1. Yeah, the SSD is even the number 2 of the slowest latency. Even the SAS drives here have a lower latency. Now, of course, this is just a remark. This is to prove that MSA configuration is quite important, because now the conclusion was, yeah, how can we optimize this? Yeah, configure tiering, for instance, because then at least we have enough SSD drives in here. And I think that they added now 4 additional SSD drives. But so enable tiering. Yeah, and create one big pool instead of separating on multiple volumes, create one big pool, right? And so this is all insights that we can get. It goes that far that we can get from CloudPhysics, which any other tool will not give you. Even the online analysis tool from MSA itself will not give you this kind of information. Right? Look at that. Also, IO requests, outstanding IO requests, very interesting information to get insights of how I can better configure the existing environment. So this has nothing to do with selling a new environment. Even I can give you insights on that existing environment. And this is how you can become that trusted advisor. And this is just one practical example that I had in the past weeks. I have much more examples of where I was helping you, partners, with analyzing the existing environment, tweak, optimize that environment. And then, of course, we became the trusted advisor. And at that moment, it was much easier to sell a new environment because they trusted us. We were not selling things. We were concerned about their environment. Okay, so let me switch. I still see no questions in the Q&A. So let me switch to my web browser view. And so this is, first of all, the link that you could see in the presentation, right? If you didn't register yet, so you will be a new CloudPhysics server, put in your first name, last name, and then important, your work email. So please, an email domain name that is recognized at HPE so that they can see that you are effectively a partner. Okay, so are you a distributor or an integrator or an MSP or just value add resellers? You have to put in this information in here. If you want to speed up things, maybe you can put in here your HPE representative email in there, which is optional, but it might help because of course they need to validate. So put your PM account manager in there and then you register. And at that moment on, you're going to log on the website through greenlake.hp.com, the GLCP GreenLake Cloud Portal, or just like me, be lazy and go to app.cloudphysics.com as long as it's still working. You log in with your account and then you come in your dashboard with all the assessments that you have. Okay, I have just a few of me because I have a lot of them from my other partners. They are in another screen, but that's the first thing that I'm going to show you already. So I created one a long time ago already for my own little company that I have, Bitcoin, with my Nimble array and my Synergy array. And so I created an assessment. How do you do that? You have that button here, Add Customer. You put in here the customer's email's name. Oops, I'm sorry. the customer email name from your end customer, then you are here as a contact. You can put some additional blah, blah, blah information, and you can also change that text, of course. Hey, Mr. Customer, do you remember me? I called you about cloud physics. Just here, deploy that observer. That's it. When you hit that button, send invite, at that moment, he will get an email with the link to that observer, that OVF file, and then as well the token that he needs to enter in his observer once that it's deployed. And that's it. Okay. At that moment, you will get here then that customer that will appear in here. And now there's already one question that I get quite often, so I'm going to show it in here. You see it's a lever, a handle, a poignée. So you see that lever in here that you can open up. And so I advise you to open up that lever in here. And then you can see here that assessment, because you will get here an assessment for 1 month. That's the right to use to run that assessment for 1 month. After 1 month, you will get an email with a button in there to download the final document, the final assessment information. And here you see it as well here, download the end of assessment report. Now, what you can do is technically after 1 month, after it's finished, you can download the report. And now what you can do is if you say, yeah, but there were some changes, they shut down virtual machines or whatever, something reason. Yes, you can add an assessment. You can do it one more time. Now I did it 5 times because I got a phone call and the people, they know me. I use this for demo environment, of course. I'm a trainer for them. So, but normally you can add one more assessment. So here, add assessment. This is your right to use. Training, blah, 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 whatever, something. If I hit add assessment now, well, I will get an additional 1 month to gather the information from my environment. Okay. But the whole idea is after 1 month, download that report. We have all the information, right? A second thing important here is you see that button here, add team member. So now this is my account. When you create your own assessment from your customer and you say, hey, Bart, can you help me with analyzing this environment? Yeah, of course, no problem. What you're going to do is add a team member. Then you're going to add in here my email address. Now, I cannot do it in my own environment, but if I take the assessment from someone else, I can add a team member, just put my email address in here. I will get an email with your invitation to join this assessment. And at that moment, I can see your assessment in here. I'll show you in a minute how it works, but at that moment I can help you with analyzing and giving you recommendations. Do this, do that, this is good and this is bad. Okay, so this is how it works. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to my demo customer, because I also have a demo customer. There's a little bit more information in here to show you. So this is then what you will see when you go to all your customers. You go to the dashboard and then you will get the dashboard, of course. Now you can customize that dashboard. You can delete a view of those panes. It's always good to see the top VMs with 99th percentile or 95th percentile CPU ready already. Always a cool one to see the VMs who are waiting for CPU. This is ESX stop in the CLI command. Now you can see it in here of how many times that those machines are waiting to be scheduled on your VM environment. You can see compute resources, capacity trending. So there's a lot of information in here. And like I said, you can change that dashboard. But the most important thing, of course, is all these scar text. So you have a summary of all your vCenters. So now in this case, I have a lot of clusters in here. It's one vCenter, but with a lot of clusters. And now you can always drill down in here and you will see in a minute that there are a lot of filters, because interesting, the host analysis. So now you can see here, indeed, that's the screenshot that I took. So that IBM system 3550, it's not on the HCL. A Lenovo system is okay, but it's unsupported. You can drill down again of how many memory and CPU. And again, it's always that lever. You see that lever in here, and look at that. The host server model is not supported by VMware. This is a cool thing already to show to your customer. And so now, yeah, if you have a higher resolution screen, of course, you will get much more insights. So you can go to the right and get more information in here. So there's another one. Just go up a little bit here. So there's more information. The ESXi version running on the host has reached end of support by VMware. And as a third one, the host server model is incompatible with ESXi 7 and 6.7 as well. So a lot of actionable insights in here for all those servers. And then, of course, if you drill down on one of those servers, of course, you get all the information from the server itself, again, with the graphs and so on. And then at the left, you can always filter, because now we have multiple clusters, for instance. So now what you can do is say, hey, hold on, I want to check only that cluster in Belgium, or that cluster in France, or that cluster in Germany, or whatever, depending on how you created your clusters or the hosts. You can also use tags. So you can put a tag on virtual machines. These ones are the virtual machines that need to be migrated. These ones don't need to be migrated, and so on and so on. So by using those tags, putting labels on it, you can nicely filter down and then say, okay, this is in scope, this is out of scope. And so now I'm not gonna take a look at all those card decks, because this I would need 1 hour more, but I would love to do that together for you. The most important ones, here's a licensing overview of the licenses on your hosts. No issues here. I will be looking always to those red icons in here. There are 399 VMs needing attentions in this card, the simulator for VM right sizing. Well, here I see quite often, recently I had a customer who had a Citrix server with 24 vCPUs, and he was complaining that it was too slow. And then I said, yeah, but hold on, 24 vCPUs. I had to go to that specific virtual machine, of course, because here you can see, look at that, this virtual machine with 12 vCPUs. Well, right side, Mr. Customer, you can run the performance, the workload of this virtual machine, you can run it with 4. This customer here in this demo environment has 2,300 vCPUs. Well, he can run his workload on 1,189 vCPUs. Okay. Now, what are we going to do for sizing then, let's say, a Simplivity environment or an Alletra environment? Well, most of the time what we do is we will pick somewhere in between. So 1,500 vCPUs or something like that. But at least we're not going to sell 2,300, yeah, because that's insane. Yeah. And this is all information. It's important to take a look at this information. How many CPUs do you gonna put in there? Don't trust the numbers that CloudPhysics is giving, at least not the numbers that you see here, because now I'm gonna be the advocate of the devil here. HPE Hgi Sizing Analysis. So this is the one for Simplivity. And so now here at the top right, you see this icon here, Simplivity Metrics. Look at that. 821, 2,300, 2.23 vCPU per CPU, which is also not good. It should be 4:1. This customer has 2.23:1. This is not efficient at all. VMware today, VMware 7 on a recent Intel or AMD CPU, you can run 4:1 virtual to physical ratio. Yeah. 2,300. Never trust this number. Now I'm talking against myself, I know, but this is the number that the customer configured. Before you're going to get this, unless you're a really good salesperson, of course, and you have a customer that has too much money. But so here, this number, I always going to challenge you. This is why it's a good advice. Give me access It's not mandatory, but please give me access to your assessment, because I have a few of those card decks in here also in the health checks. There are a few card decks in here about high availability, about DRS clusters, about network contention, knowledge-based advisors. These are really best practices from VMware and HPE that are in here. I'm going to take a quick look. There's also another one that is important here in the performance troubleshooting. Also aggregated power. That's always a cool one as well, to show Mr. Customer, do you have an idea how many electricity that you consume? No. Well, now I can prove it to you. Yeah. And I can show you how you can optimize your power bill. I think that's a cool discussion these days with the electricity, which is rather expensive, right? Well, now we can drill down in here. VM limits and reservations, data store contentions. Yeah, that's the MSA example that I showed you, right? Is the workload balancing across your data stores okay? Yes or no? Otherwise, CloudPhysics will help you with this, with too high low latency, and so on and so on. Yeah, so this is the tool, okay? And so you can put your favorites on your card decks and so on. You can share cards with other people as well. But so this is the tool that you should get started with, because it will help you to analyze the existing environment, okay? If you're not able to register, just call me, send me an email. I will be glad to help you with this. And then definitely the first time. I have a lot of partners already who are now working by themselves. At the first time or the first two assessments, we sat together virtually or physically, and then we took a look together. It doesn't have to take a long time. In 1/2 an hour, we analyzed together this environment, how we can tweak, how we can optimize the environment, and then we create a configuration, and then we win that deal, of course. Okay, good. I still don't see any questions coming in, so I assume that everything is clear, because now we arrived at a moment where we analyze the existing environment with Lenovo and Dell and IBM, and we have proven that it's out of control, not supported, and so on and so on. And Mr. Customer, we are the advisor, we're not a salesperson. We're gonna take a look at your new environment. We're gonna do a sizing, Simplivity, Alletra, DHCI, ProLiant with MSA is very good as well. It depends on the size of your customer. We're going to help you with that. And then, of course, we're going to deploy that HPE solution. And then with HPE, we have a thing called Infosight. Now, Infosight takes it exists already a long time. It came inside HPE thanks to the Nimble acquisition in 2017, so 4 years ago already. And so I more than 10 sessions I organized already, so please go take a look at techdataevents.be with all the recordings on my blog. You can find a lot of information in there as well on Infosight. Quick introduction of what is Infosight, and I want to tell you as well what's new, because this is an update session, remember? So I'm going to tell you quickly what is Infosight for those who don't know, but otherwise as well, what is new in here. So it's all about intelligence. Intelligence changes everything. You can see that with CloudPhysics. The more we know, the better decisions that we can make. And it's exactly the same thing. And so this is what I show to customers when I'm selling Infosight, because by the way, Infosight is also for free. If you have an active support contract on your HPE gear, you get Infosight for free. And what is then the experience that you will get? Everybody will go on holiday one of these days or weeks, I hope, probably, I assume. Well, you know the time, by the way, at least for 2021, the book still exists. I have to update my picture, the good old Michelin guides, and you will find out your way yourself to the Belgian coast or the French coast, or maybe even a little bit further. Or you can go the digital way with a GPS, an electronic GPS solution, or I assume that you go the smart way with Google Maps or Waze or those similar intelligent GPS solutions that know the traffic in front of you, at the left, at the right, and will make smart decisions to get you in the fastest and the more efficient way at your end location. Well, the same thing is happening in IT. Already more than 10 years, we are in the flash era. All flash arrays is common these days. Everybody talks about the cloud era. Well, Mr. Customer, you should know that AI is everywhere. Artificial intelligence to help you make decisions, just like Waze is doing. That's what we call the intelligence era. And you will see that intelligence everywhere inside the HPE portfolio. Yeah, probably you have seen this picture already. We have servers, storage, networking, hardware, but now we put a virtualization layer on top of it. We're going to virtualize everything. We're going to virtualize the servers with VMware and Hyper V. We're going to virtualize the network with VXLAN and SD-WAN and so on. Go take a look at the presentation of yesterday with Joris from the Aruba team, how we're going to virtualize your network as well. And we're going to virtualize storage. So many options with, for instance, Simplivity and so on, and a lot of partnerships with HPE. We're going to virtualize the storage as well. But the more layers that we're going to put in there, it becomes more and more complex for us humans to solve. And this is where then that additional AI comes on top of it. Independent of what you are running on premises or even in the cloud, because, oh yeah, that's right, we have mailboxes and data and backups in the cloud. And what else do we have in the public cloud? Well, at that moment, where do I have to run what? This is why we need those insights. And the vision for HPE on IT operations is, first of all, we need to predict that there will be a problem. If we know that there will be a problem, we're going to give you recommendations. By the way, we are today already as recommending, but Infosight is not finished. We keep on, or HPE keeps on working on Infosight, because HPE is moving towards the autonomous data center. If you want to compare it with cars, this is the self-driving car. Okay, this is Waze. This is road assist. Already, we're going to give you recommendations. Well, now with the autonomous car, the self-driving car, this is what's going to happen with your data center. Infosight today has the capability to say, hey, you have, sorry. I'll go back quickly to the slide. I pushed the wrong button. This happens. We were here, right? So the thing is that today, if you have 3 servers, Infosight can see already that, hey, remember with those MSA for data stores? Yeah, you think that you had a good separation of workload. Well, here I have 3 servers. I have 30 virtual machines, 10, 10, and 10. You think that you did a good job of workload separation. Well, in reality, maybe all the big virtual machines are here and all the small ones here. Well, Infosight will tell you, hey, Bart, maybe it's better. This is overloaded. This is underutilized. So maybe we're going to give you a recommendation to left and right. Well, today with Infosight, we're going to give you the recommendation. With the autonomous data center, HPE Infosight has the capability today already. I have seen the demos already, where HPE Infosight will move those virtual machines for you. Yeah. I know your customer psychologically is not maybe ready for that. Not everybody is convinced about the self-driving car either. Yeah. Well, know that Infosight can do this already. Today, they're giving recommendations, but the API, the software code is there that Infosight will move those virtual machines across those servers to give you a better experience without you knowing it. Okay. That's coming. Okay. And by the way, it all started with storage, with the Nimble acquisition, but today Infosight is on servers, on networking, on and on the integrated systems, the HCI solutions, like for Simplivity as well. You're going to see in a minute. Also here, just like with CloudPhysics, Infosight is collecting information. We are today already, the last number that I saw, we were already at more than 1,800 trillion data points that are collected. And with predictive analytics, we are saving already a lot of hours. That recommendation engine was added somewhere 2019. It became available as well, the Waze experience. Yeah, so also there, it's nothing new. It exists already more than 10 years already. We are very smart. We learned a lot already in the past 10, 11 years. Practically, just like with cloud physics, know that it's a cloud-based platform. Okay, infosight.hpe.com. And for this one, you don't need to install an observer. Most of the intelligence sits in the hardware. Okay, Nimble, Alletra, we have directly a connection. With Tripar, for the Tripar customers, we have that service processor that will send all the details. And now for those who attended my compute server update session last week, you should know, because I told you last week that for Infosight today for servers, until now, the Ilo needs to send information to the cloud. Well, you don't want all your Ilo servers to connect to the cloud. Well, we have Ilo Amplifier Pack. So there's a little virtual machine like the observer for cloud physics. We have a little virtual machine, which is called the Ilo Amplifier Pack, that will gather all the information for all your servers, and then we'll send it to Infosight. Infosight for servers, you need that Amplifier Pack until now. Because, of course, like I said, I told you in the previous session, go take a look at the recording of last week's session. But so you will see that now we're going to move this into a new thing called COM, C-O-M, Compute Ops Manager. So with the next one, it's available today for all your customers with Ilo 5. So every customer with generation 10 will be able to use this. Now your Ilo will connect directly to the cloud, to greenlake.hp.com, and upload all the information in there. So also there, keep on following me, because there are changes happening as well with that cloudy experience or cloud managed experience. The whole idea is that we have that predictive analytics engine, we have that recommendation engine, all those AI driven operations will come in there. Call it Infosight, call it GreenLake Cloud Portal, not important. It will be one big portal anyway. Everything is integrated. Yeah. And so about that predictive support, well, I told you it's the Waze experience. It's about problems. It's about bad configurations. It's about not following best practices like just cloud physics did. Well, it's exactly the same now with Infosight, but cloud physics is before HPE, and then Infosight is with HPE. And so the whole thing is, once that your customer is on HPE, well, technically, you don't need cloud physics anymore in 5 years, because in 5 years, we have a sizer directly in Infosight. So it's cloud physics only for those customers who are not using Infosight yet, so are not on HPE yet. Yeah, because this is what Infosight will be helping you with, those simple problems, the problems that occur very often. That's easy to solve, right? Because we have a lot of experience, but the problem is here. The problem that occurs just 1 time a year. Yeah, that's complex. You need to put a lot of effort and a lot of time in there. Well, it's here where Infosight will help. Here, it's just following best practices, guys. Yeah. Here is where Infosight will help you with that AI. And we have a lot of examples in there, but one of them that I like is, for instance, it's called Cross-Stack Analytics. The old name was VM Vision. We have a view, storage, network, compute, up to the virtual machine. And you will see in a few slides from now that today we have a new thing recently announced, which is App Insights. App Insights go 1 step up in the stack. We can see today your SQL server already. SQL server is today the first application that we're going to take a look, and we're going to give you recommendations. Mr. Customer or Mr. HP Partner, your SQL server is good configured, but it can be better. maybe your log files and your data files and your transaction files and your snapshots and your backups, and the performance is good, and now it's bad. Something changed, something happened. Infosight is going to give you recommendations. SQL Server is the first one. There will be more applications, you know, all the popular ones, they will come as well. But the first one today is SQL Server, where HPE is going to give you recommendations. Very popular issue on VMware and Hyper V, noisy neighbors. You know, noisy neighbors, right? There's one virtual machine which is impacting the performance, the latency most of the time of all those other virtual machines becoming slow on that host. The challenge for you is, who is the noisy neighbor? Is it the neighbor above you, below you, at the left, at the right of you? Where comes the noise from? Well, on VMware and Hyper V, exactly the same. By the way, I can tell you, I mentioned Hyper V. Infosight supports Hyper V already. Okay, it's not because CloudPhysics today is VMware only. Know that Infosight today supports customers with Hyper V already as well. Important to know. And this is the thing. This is the typical iceberg thing. Oh, I see a peak in CPU and memory. That must be the bad guy, right? Maybe yes, maybe no, but maybe it might be another parameter that might be causing that latency. And so we're going to predict that there will be a problem, yes or no, because every 24 hours or every week or every moment in time, we see that peak. Well, we're going to predict just like Waze is doing with your GPS. Well, here it's the same thing. We're going to tell you what is really bad, and which is something that you can solve, the easy things and the difficult things, remember. And here as well, this is one picture in Infosight. I challenge you to see this picture in the VMware, or even worse in the Hyper V console, where you can see the total latency, but now you see, oh, it's slow, but who is causing that latency? Is it the host? Because it's that apple green, blue, whatever, something, that's host latency. You see the purple one, that's the network latency, and the green is the storage latency. In one picture, I have a drill down of that complete latency, and now you can see who is causing the issue, the host, the network, or the storage. Because you know it's always the network guys, and then they say, yeah, I can ping, so the network is okay. And then the storage guys, they say, yeah, but hold on, I can copy a file on there, storage is okay. And also the compute guy, he will say, look, my server is running fluently at 10% CPU. And then you have a problem, right? Root cause analysis, it's a nightmare. Infosight will help you. Also a data store. This is a data store of 1 terabyte, and it's always the virtual machine that is the biggest that needs the most. Nope. Here, by the way, dark is bad, light is okay. Here, it's that little, small, tiny virtual machine that is causing all the ILO latency. You don't have to be an expert. My boy of 11 years old, he can analyze, he can give me here who is the bad guy and who is the good guy. Yeah. And by the way, when you click on there, you get more information about that virtual machine. Yeah. So it's much easier to do root cause analysis as well. Trending. Hey, you are running out of date firmware. You have to update the software on your array controller, on your storage array. You need more bandwidth. Your LACP is badly configured, and so on and so on. Usage trending. This workload I see every morning. On Monday morning, it goes up and then it goes down, and it goes up and down, and then the weekend it's slow. Well, now, at least ransomware, if there's a tool encrypting all your data, well, that is not normal traffic. So Infosight could see it because it is not normal traffic, right? But before you can see that, of course, you have to capture that information. That's why you need HPE smart devices for Lion servers, Simplivity, Aletras, Nimbles, and so on, right? So there you go. All these platforms support Infosight already. Yes, I know there's one box that is missing. MSA. MSA is coming. It's on the roadmap. When will it be there? I have no idea. We just have to put first more telemetry data in there. We have to make that MSA a smart box. yeah, with the performance counters that MSA has today, we don't have enough information to give you predictive analytics. This is why it's a matter of time. I don't know if it will be this year or next year. Keep on following me. But MSA, one day, we have to update not the hardware, but the software. And then we're going to put that information in there as well. But all the other HPE platforms, you can see them all in here. Alletra 6000, 9000, Tripar, Primera, Simplivity, DHI, everything is today supported in Infosight. And now quickly, we're almost through because like I said, this is an update session. I want to give you an idea because probably you attended already one of my sessions, but what is new in Infosight? Because also Infosight, there is always updates. Every month, every 6 weeks, there are updates on Infosight. First of all, we have a thing called the Welcome Center. Okay, so the Welcome Center, like the name says, it will help you to start installing, configuring your environment. Okay, so it's an installation guide for dummies, for those who are too lazy to download the configuration file, document, PDF, or the installation document of your product. Well, at that moment, the Welcome Center will give you in an assisted way. So when you go there, it's easy, infosight.hp.com/welcome center. You go on there, and at that moment, you have to select which product that you have, right? By the way, I can show it to you quickly. This is my web browser. So there you go, infosight.hp.com/welcome center. And now you just have to tell me, what is it? What do you have? Is it an Alletra array, a Nimble array? Oh, I have a Nimble Gen 5 array. Okay, which one is it? Oh, it's an HF20. Okay, here's my checklist. Okay, I need internet access for Infosight for DSCC. Location, I need 4U of rack space. I need 2 power connections. On the cooling, I need cooling, of course. Your network layout, oh, there you, oh, that's cool. I have fiber channel, I have network connections to the management network, nicely explained, all in here. Know something about noise, firewalls. Oh yeah, lifting the array, watch out, it's quite heavy, a Nimble Gen 5 array. And then finally, I follow all this, and then I come in the physical installation. And now we are, of course, in the TikTok world of these days, so everything needs to be found on the videos. So guys, I'm not gonna play this video, but the heaviest thing that you're gonna do that day is unboxing it and putting it in the rack. But from now on, my boy of 11 years old can do this because there are videos in here that will tell you the unboxing, the racking, the cabling, and then powering on your server. And then we're going to do the software configuration. Okay, so I call the infosight.hp.com/welcome center is the Infosight for Dummies, or the installation guide for dummies. So Welcome Center, of course, Alletra 6000 and 9000 is there besides all the other ones. Except MSA, I know MSA is not there. Hold on, one day it will be there. Also, I heard that Simplivity will come in here. So all the other platforms from HPE, the idea is that everything will come to that Welcome Center. And just select your array and then watch the videos, download the PDF, and these are all the steps that you need to do to install that solution, right? Prerequisites, everything is there. You don't have to download those PDFs anymore anyway. Now, Infosight for storage, what do you think? More views. So also now we have Alletra 6000 and 9000 that is supported, obviously, of course, in Infosight, just like all the Primeras and the Nimble Gen 5. So now you have those views in your menu. Besides Primera, Tripar, DHI, the application insights, which is your SQL server. And then we have Alletra 6000, and then Nimble, and Alletra 9000 is the next generation Primera, of course. Okay, so all the dashboards that you can imagine, it's in there. When you go to the top right, it's much easier now to look for objects if you have multiple customers. By the way, it's multi-tenant. If you have multiple customers with multiple nimble arrays, you're going to see that you can create organizations. So for every customer that you have, customer A, B, and C, you're going to create an organization. And then you, being the HPE partner, you can search across organizations. Hey, show me all the nimble arrays that are almost out of support, because when they're almost out of support, I need to sell more support or a support extension, of course. Right? So the search optimization is in there as well to look for good stuff and to look, of course, for bad stuff. We have operational dashboards. So if you have a customer, or if you have multiple customers with multiple arrays, you as an HPE partner, there's a view called View All Organizations. So View All Organizations are all your customers. That's the multi-tenancy. And so you can see all the Nimble and the Alletra and the Simplivity systems. You can view them in one dashboard. And then, of course, green is okay. Yellow is watch out. Red is critical, red is bad. And so it's quite easy to create your own dashboard to see how good or how bad it goes, right? The same for then the virtual machines, the noisy neighbors, what I call them, right? So here you create your own dashboards that are pre-configured dashboards, of course, for your top virtual machines, and then look for, of course, those ones who are creating the most noise, the highest latency. And then when you click on there, you get recommendations, maybe move them to another data store or on another host, or maybe downsize them. They have too much vCPUs, for instance, right? So, hey, you get a copy of the presentation, take a look at all these dashboards. It's all about in the wellness. Yeah, you get more information in the wellness dashboard about this is good configured, this is bad configured. And often as well is that, oh yeah, by the way, manage emails. I get often a question as well about Infosight. Hey, Bart, can I get emails? Yeah, can I get an alert when there is a problem? Yes, of course. How do I do that, guys? Notifications, manage email. So I put the slides in here for your reference, right? So just go to your manage wellness email notifications, and then you can select yourself which alerts do you want to get. Do you want to get it instantly, weekly, monthly, daily? If it goes from green to yellow, or from yellow to red, or from red to green. So here you can control as well, when do we get an email instantly or every day? I want to get an email from my customer's environment to see how good or how bad it goes. How cool is that? Instead of you going to look for problems, now the problems will come to you. You will get an email. It's going good or it's going bad. Proactively, right? That's the whole idea. Just use it. It is there. Infosight keeps on changing. Yeah, Bart, I get this too often. Hey, Bart, I attended your Infosight session 2 years ago. Really cool. I am using it since 2 years. Very good. Did you take a look at it? No, not really. Hey, guys, this is a cloud platform. There are updates quite often. There's more dashboards, more functionality. Please use it. That self-driving car that you bought 2 years ago, I hope that you updated it meanwhile because it got smarter. Yeah, those self-driving cars, they get updates every week. Yeah, capacity forecasting. As long as he's checking your storage array, he will know how much data that you put on there. He will do the forecasting, and then he will send you an email. Hey guys, if you keep on going like this, in 6 months from now, you will be at your 90% boundary limit. So maybe you should start thinking already about expanding your storage. With all the storage, the stock constraints of these days, maybe this could be a very interesting one to know in advance. Uh-oh, I need more memory, I need more CPU, I need more storage. Yeah. Initially, also a complaint, a remark about, hey, there's a lot of dashboards. I want to customize that dashboard. I want to customize that view because in my Outlook and my Microsoft application, I can add and remove fields. Yep, you can add and remove fields now as well in your systems view. Yeah, so there are multiple fields that you can add. So get the information that you like to know, that you need to know. And then you can export it. Hey, there's an export to CSV, an Excel file, right? A raw data file dump. So now in the CSV file, look at that, how many fields that you can export, all these parameters on host level, on CPG level, on volume level, all these parameters you can export and then do some more analytics or reporting on there. For those who like Simplivity, I have a lot of customers with Simplivity these days. Know that also initially with Simplivity, it was every hour and every day that there was a dump of the information. Well, now we have streaming wellness. So now we have permanently those signatures, that data that's being sent. So we get faster information in Infosight on Simplivity on the wellness dashboard to see if there are caution or critical or informational alerts. Also there, I advise you guys, subscription and notifications. Also here, you can enable email notifications to see if there are updates, if there are things that you need to be aware of. So it's back again here, that button, manage subscriptions. And then you can configure here, hey guys, I want to know things when something changes on my environment. Just follow the procedure. I put a slide in here. I think it was interesting. Also in the settings menu, manage subscriptions, you can find it in there. Okay. We're almost through. Finally, something about servers. There's a document. People are asking me, hey, Bart, how do I enable Infosight for servers? Because until now, as long as you're not switching to COM, Compute Ops Management, we keep on using Infosight for servers, of course. How to set it up? Well, you need that Ilo Amplifier Pack. It's not difficult to deploy. It's a little virtual machine. Everything is nicely explained in the quick specs. The link to the document is in here. Now, what is new as well, because it exists already for 2 years that it's working. But now, you know, with ProLiant, there's an Ilo, and the Ilo has a functionality called AHS. Active Health System. It's a log file of your Ilo that you can export, and then you have to go to a website on the HPE support pages. You can upload that file there, and then you can see how good or how bad it goes with that server, with that Ilo. Well, now you don't have to do that anymore, because now if that server has a connection with Infosight for servers, well, at that moment, look at that. This is also something new in Infosight. Now you can analyze the log files directly from within Infosight. Also, there's a little procedure that you need to follow. Also here, I put the slides in the presentation. It's explained in that quick specs file and also in the help file. But what you need to do is, of course, you have to add that server. It's with a token that you have to claim and then paste it in the ILO of your server. And at that moment on, once that server is claimed inside Infosight, then you can analyze the AHS. So what you're going to see here is, this is a server. It's a DL580, if I can see it well. And now you can see the hardware, the software, the wellness, firmware and software. And so now as well, this is new, customer advisories. Yeah, best practices. You can find them in here. By the way, you can also create a support case from in here as well. Okay, so directly here, oh, there's a hard disk broken. You can create manually a support case, but know that today as well, thanks to an update from Infosight for servers, yep, we can do also automatic case creation for you. How cool is that? A hard disk breaks, case is created automatically. HPE will contact you instead of you contacting HPE. And by the way, as well, the wellness alerting that we had for storage and for Simplivity, yes, of course, it's possible as well for compute. So Infosight for servers. So it's also a manual or an automatic support creation with the alerting in there. So that's up to you. If you want to do an automatic support case creation, of course, it's a one-time action. Of course, you have to fill in your contact details. If that disk is broken, then HPE will send that disk to you. Of course, they need to know your email address and your phone number, and maybe also the location where they're gonna send that hard disk to. Of course, it can be your address, being the HPE partner, and then you go to the customer, or if that customer has their own IT team at that moment, you can maybe put that address from that end customer in there. But think about this, because practically I have known already a box that was delivered at the end customer, big company. They said, what is this? It was a COVID period. They said, what is this? I don't get it. UPS or DHL, take it with you back again. The day after, the engineer arrived to install that hard disk. No hard disk to find, of course. So watch out, think about the logistics, of course, when you're going to set the address from your end customer in here. Okay, so just watch out there. Okay. So almost through. I like this one, customer advisories. I send normally I receive an email every week with all the updates for all the products that I have, which is nice. Yeah, but then I have to take a look. Oh yeah, this one. Oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that one. Now know that as well in Infosight, those customer advisories for that DL380 Gen 9 and that Apollo 2000 Gen 10 and so on. You can see those customer advisories in here now as well, directly in one portal, infosight.hpe.com. And then finally, I mentioned it already, the app insights. We go now up to the application level. I can tell you SQL is there, Oracle, SAP HANA, Docker, others are coming. But so today, you will see this is one of the views in there. So what we see in here is these are databases, multiple databases where you can see again noisy neighbors, latency going up and down. This is normal. This is not normal. Truncating from transactional logs and so on. So know that this information, this view is now available again for free. For free. I should watch out, of course, that SQL database needs to be running on a server and on storage that is covered by an HPE support contract. So that's the only thing that you need, is the data needs to be stored on an HPE device that has an active support maintenance contract or warranty. The first 3 years can be warranty, but most of us, you will sell or you will buy anyway a support contract. And then this is really cool, and there is much more to come. In the upcoming session, it will be somewhere September, October timeframe. I plan to do a demo on the app insights on SQL Server. But there you go. Again, full stack analytics with the topology insights, but now up to your SQL Server as well. More information can be found on that website. It's an app insights. You have to request access. It's in production. It works, but access to it is on a controlled way. So if you have a customer that says, hey, I have an SQL database and I want to use this, well, at that moment, you just have to send an email with a little bit of basic background information to the HPE team from Infosight. You can find that email address as well on the Infosight pages from App Insights, and then they will give you the information of the collector. There's also a little collector as well that you're going to install, because he needs to acquire also the telemetry data of the SQL Server. Watch out, telemetry data, it's not customer data, it's performance data that will be collected of that SQL Server. Now, if you want to see this in action, yeah, if you didn't use it yet, you didn't see it yet, know that there is on the Infosight pages, this is the link, but this is an interactive, guided interactive wizard that you're going to follow based on a few scenarios. So just go to that link and follow, take a look at these little demos, or even better, go to infosight.hpe.com, log in and add all the HPE devices from all your customers, put them in there if you didn't do it yet. Okay, and otherwise, here's the HPE team, our email address, our phone number. For me, it's bart.jungens@techdata.com. Send me an email, call me. You can find me on social media. And then we'll sit together to talk about cloud physics, to talk about Infosight, to see how you get more information out of the existing and your future environment. Once that we define the configuration, this is what I need. Of course, my colleagues, Wim, Christophe, Steve, they will help you with bills of materials, with SKUs to find the best prices. For your partnership, Danny and Peter will be there to help you to take care of your partnership with HPE. And of course, if you want demos, I have Synergy, I have Nimble, I have Simplivity, I have a lot of gear of HPE, so I can do the demos. I will help you with POCs and so on to do more business with HPE. Okay, so there you go. I arrived at the end of the presentation. I'm sorry for those few minutes being over time, but like I said, there's a lot of interesting information to share with you. I hope it was interesting. I hope it's useful so that you can use these tools and get more benefit out of it, that you can do better business with us and with HPE. Like I said, I won a lot of deals already thanks to these two free tools. I'll stay online as long as I see people connected. Please use the Q&A and let me know your questions. I see a question here. I think HPE AHS web access has been removed recently. It's not removed, it is replaced. It was moved somewhere else because HPE is changing a lot of their support portal. They have the next generation version 2 or 3.0 from their support portal. So they are changing some URLs. So I noticed myself as well that some links that I used in the past are not working anymore. So yeah, I know you should look where it is, but I know that the functionality as such AHS, because I saw it yesterday in Infosight. So definitely in Infosight for servers, you will find the option for AHS. So active health system log analysis for sure. Okay. Good, guys. Thank you very much. If there are other questions, please submit them through Q&A. Otherwise, have a great day and maybe see you on our last session, at least for this month, for this quarter. On Thursday, we're going to talk about Simplivity and DHCI. So on all the hyper-converged solutions from HPE. Good. Thank you very much. Stay safe and hope to see you soon one day. Bye-bye.